answers. Like we're not missing what's the secret? How do I get to the next level? What we're missing, and this is what I told my team, is we're missing. Oh, hello, recording. Let me say yes to that. What we're missing is discipline and consistency, the fundamentals. And we've all heard John Cheplack say little hinges swing big doors. And the agents that win are the ones that are not looking for more answers and more training and more stuff to fill their head with. It's the ones that'll sit in the seat and do the boring things longer than anybody else will do. And so to me, the whole thing about consistency, I proved it to myself because you know how we've read the books, or that books that talk about getting 1% better every day. And we're like, oh, that sounds phenomenal. But if we can't see that result, we go, does it even matter? So 45 days ago, with my team, I did a 30-day challenge. And the 30-day challenge was, can we do a 6-minute workout? Which Amber's probably laughing at me because her and her husband are like workoutaholics. So can we do a 6-minute workout and is actually going to change our body, our mindset, our feeling? And you're seeing this 6-minute workout go viral online right now. If you've seen people hopping and doing the twists, has everybody seen those? And they're like, oh my God, this is ancient Chinese, whatever. I was like, let's try it. Well, in 30 days, I lost an inch off my waist. And, I'm a pretty petite person, but, I feel when the bulge is going over my pants, and I'm like, okay, I could use a little bit of working out, but I hate working out. But in those 6 minutes, I started to see my body change. My golf swing get stronger. Even my son was like, "Mom, you really hit that further." I'm like, because everything's moving, momentum is moving. So I would encourage you guys to do your 6-minute workout. That's my advertisement for today. 6 minutes for 30 days and see how it changes your life. Now I do it for 12 minutes. So I do 6 minutes in the morning and 6 minutes at night, and it actually helps me sleep more. So when I think of again moving here 15 years ago, I didn't know one person. I didn't have a database. I didn't have a sphere. I didn't have anybody handing me leads. I literally did one thing consistently was calling expireds. And it was boring and it was grueling. But doing that day after day, it led to 130 deals per year, which was complete ridiculousness and burnout, which that's where I started the team. But nobody sees that. And so I think again, my message is, and I want to hear how you guys feel about your year. Tell me in the chat, like what is this year if you had to pick one word or one sentence, how does it feel for you? Because a lot of people lost half their business. I have agents that went, well, my best year was 20. I did 8 this year. If you're saying your best year was 20, but that was in 2021, 2022, we all had the wind at our back. So that wasn't really a good reflection of what our true capacity is because we had someone pulling us. We had the wind, we had the market. Just you could look at anyone and do a deal. And so all of a sudden, we're back into a really normalized market. And I have top agents that go, I don't know how to get a price reduction. I don't know how to have a conversation with a seller where I can move that needle and get the seller to do what I need to do. And so we're right back, Allison, I think you could agree, and Anna too, that we're right back in this weird normalized market. And then people just feel a little unsettled. So I have 6 or 7 questions that I keep getting asked because I do a lot of calls and a lot of one-on-ones. I do a lot of recruiting calls. And so when I'm doing recruiting calls, I'll ask, like, what are you struggling with? What questions do you have for me? How can I solve your problems today? And that was the number one question. How do I stay consistent when I'm not seeing results? And so I'm going to share my screen because Anna, you asked this yesterday. I want to refresh this little, you guys see that? The 6 Ps, you guys have heard me say this. You should be annoyed with me saying this by now, but I think if you look at your business, and I'd love for you guys to put in the chat box how many years you've been in the business. If you've been in the business 10 years or more, this will resonate with you. And you'll go, yep, I totally get it. But if you've been in the business 1, 2, 3 years, you're somewhere on this chart and you're feeling a certain way. And so I woke up one night and um, I created this because I had agents in my office that joined our team and they were comparing somebody's year 7 or 8 to their year 1 or their year 2. And I could see the frustration in their eyes. So the 6 Ps were indicative of my journey, but the real journey that it takes to become great at something and to settle in. And so the first year is the bottom, is the process, is the foundation. I don't care what you start. Go play golf. You're going to start with excitement and process. Go try to have a baby. Excitement, we're going to have a baby. There's a process. Men really like the process. Women, no, just kidding. Um, but there is a process. And so that first year, you're trying to figure that out. The second year, you're practicing the process. You're trying to figure out your golf swing. You're trying to figure out, why am I not getting pregnant? You're trying to figure out, how am I going to land these sellers and these buyers? Why am I not getting these deals? You're practicing and you're frustrated because you're like, I'm not freaking good at this. And by years 3 and 4, you're literally in boredom phase where you're questioning your life. I have saved so many people from real estate, leaving real estate because they're in years 3 and 4, and it's a critical time frame of suffering where they're like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up to be a cold caller. I didn't sign up to have people ringing my phone 24/7. Like, this is not what I imagined when I was thinking about driving a really nice car and looking at houses. And so there's this critical time frame where people start to get impatient, where they should be patient. They're bored, they're impatient, they're questioning life. They jump brokerages. You'll see it every 3 years, an agent jumps brokerages. That's the average because they're looking for another answer. They're looking for a shiny pill that's going to inspire them to go do their job when they should just do their job. When you look at a worker at GM, my uncles that worked for GM for years, they did the same factory job for 35 years. Every day they punched in and punched out. None of us want to do that because we're entrepreneurs and we think it should be shiny and new every day. But real estate gives us the opportunity to be shiny and new every day because is every client different? Yes. So when a client asks, should I sell my home or should I buy a home today? My answer is, it depends. It's never, yeah, you should. It's an amazing time. No, it depends. I just told a buyer that came to buy my dining room table the other day. He asked if he should buy, and I said no. Based on what you just told me, no, you should not buy a home today. So you got to embrace the repetitious boredom in years 3 and 4 if you're in it. And then finally, by years 5 through 9, you're in power mode. You're confident and you're feeling really good about going on a presentation.
Yeah.
You're feeling,
Yeah.
yes, Bobby. Bobby said yes. He's feeling really good about it. And I think by year 10, I can say anyone in this room that's year 10 plus, you feel sort of like you've mastered it. You've got a passion for it. People are knocking on your door to say, hey, Amber, can you speak about this? Allison, can you speak about this? People are requesting your presence because you've done something. You have suffered through it. And there is no balance when you're going through this. I'm sorry, everybody. It's a farce. There's no balance. It's suffering. And so you look up suffering in the dictionary and it's literally, or passion. You look up passion in the dictionary and it's suffering. And so finally, after, 10 plus years, I'm 26 years this year. It's purpose. I get to be on a Zoom with you guys. Usually I would have been on the phones calling and expired, but I get to be on a Zoom with you guys just talking about life and real estate. I found my purpose. I can give hope helping one person every day. So that's when you're safe, when you're financially safe. You feel like you've done the thing. So I hope I brought this out because Anna asked about it yesterday. But I think it's really powerful. Take a screenshot of it, put it on your wall. And if you're in years 3 and 4, stop whining. You've got 5 more years, 6 more years. Like, just deal with it. Deal with the fact that you have to just work through it. So consistency. I love to open that up and anybody have a question about that? Anybody have an aha about that? No, no.
If
Good.
nobody jumps in, I see that somebody said, I'm great at selling homes, but I hate prospecting. So what do you say about that?
Join the club. So I see Dean Clark on here. Dean Clark, his whole world is prospecting every day. And the thing is, if you hate prospecting, you have to reframe that idea in your mind because you were born into this business to prospect. That is a skill that you have to learn. It's a skill. Talk to more people is the fastest way to grow your business. Track every conversation, follow up relentlessly. And most agents are literally an hour a day away from 3 closings. Like, literally your next 3 closings are an hour a day of prospecting. For me, when I moved here, 20 conversations minimum. And I have not called and expired in 3 years. 3 years. But I could call right now. Hey, is this Dean? Yeah, it's Dean. Hey, Dean, really quick, I've got a quick question for you. I'm a real estate agent locally in the area. Your home came off the market as an expired listing, and we're in one of the hottest real estate markets of all time. And I'm just curious, Dean, why do you think your home didn't sell? And then you just shut up, right? Dean shaking his head. And then the prospect says, what, Dean? What does the prospect say?
Oh, it
They
was either the ages, all different responses. But let's just say, oh, I took it off the market. Oh, I have a friend in the business already. I have whatever. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. They say whatever, and you just repeat what they say. Oh, you have a friend in the business that failed to sell your home. Oh, you're taking it off the market. That's great. Hey, Dean, you're taking it off the market, but I'm just so curious. Before we hang up, I know you're busy and I'm busy too, but I just had to call you. I'm just so curious. Again, do you hear my tonalities coming from curiosity? That's my job. I'm so curious. Why did you take it off the market? Or if you had a buyer that was willing to pay you 459,000, would you still sell it? Or I'm just so curious, were you going to move locally or were you moving out of town? I'm just so curious. Why do you think your home didn't sell? You have this amazing kitchen. I'm just so curious. So stay in curiosity. That's all that expireds are. Your job is to sell homes. And you're a listing agent no matter what. You're out showing houses to buyers. You have to sit down and do a pricing presentation for a buyer so they know what to offer. All you have to do is go tell the seller the same information. Now you're a listing agent. Congratulations. And you have to put their property in MLS and take really nice pictures. And then you have to consult with them a little longer than a buyer and have harder conversations. So if you don't like to prospect, you're always going to have financial issues, or you're going to have to wait a really, 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 really long time to build a database and build past clients. Because the average agent, I have a knock at my door because I'm remodeling my house, so I'm just going to go with it. I am the average agent sells 2 to 4 homes a year. Hi, welcome. I'm on a Zoom for work. So if you look at a business of an agent that's been in the business for 20 years and they sell 4 homes a year for 10 years, that's 40 transactions. Those agents might have a database of 200 in 10 years. And yeah, maybe they sell 10 homes at that point, but you're never going to sell in high volume if you don't learn how to prospect. That's just the reality. So
I like what Dean said. He said, you taught me to acknowledge, respond, and pivot. And so for anybody that is, I think, I don't want to use the word fearful of, it's just like we say we don't like to do something. I think that we usually say, at least I find myself saying, I don't like to do something because the space between not knowing and knowing is frustration, right?
yeah,
And so as soon as you can shift that mindset to say, like, what are these little tactics we can do? Like acknowledge, respond, and pivot. Like print that out in front of you and put it in front of you and just try that for 3 weeks and just
try
stay
it.
consistent with calling 15 people a week or whatever it is. Like, how do you just keep adding these little things to your, it's like the 6-minute workout. We're not telling you that you need to go and prospect for 8 hours a day. I think that's the mindset that people have to get out of is nobody is saying you need to sit down for 8 hours a day in front of your computer and just prospect all day long. We're telling you to do a 6-minute workout and you'll lose an inch on your waist. Like
And this is 60 minutes. It's 60 minutes. So 6 minutes, 60 minutes for real estate. You can't
right.
add 60 minutes to change your life. I mean, guys, millions of dollars were made by hi, is this Bob? Hey Bob, I'm just so curious. I'm a local real estate agent. I saw your home come off the market in one of the hottest real estate markets of all time. I'm just curious. Do you have a minute? I have a question. You could even pivot that way. Are you, I have a minute. I wanted to reach out to you. I just have a burning question. You got a minute? Usually people go, what do you want? Yes. They don't say no to that because they're like, what is her question? What is her question? I got to know the question. And then you can say, we're in the hottest real estate market of all time. Your home looks like it's in beautiful condition. What do you think stopped it from selling? If you guys can master that 30 seconds, they're yours. They're yours. That 30 seconds of pain and suffering, it's only because you guys didn't do the work to practice it. Dean practice every day. that script. I practiced every day, 5 role play partners. Why? Because I was so nervous and uncomfortable, sweaty pits. Guys, I lied to my coach for 2 months that I was calling expireds, and I told him I was, but I wasn't. Why? Because I'm just like you. We're all the same. It sucks. It's uncomfortable. What if they say something I can't answer? What if they're mean to me? Okay, they might be mean to you, but you're an adult. GOI, get over it. That's what my coach would say. So I'm just telling you, if you have money problems, that is your number one way to become successful is become a strong listing agent. And you can't say you don't have leads. There are for sale by owner signs out there everywhere, and there are expired listings. And here's the other thing I'll tell you about expireds. They're beat up sellers. Their first agent did not tell them the truth. Their first agent was too weak to call them to get a price reduction. Their first agent was a friend in the family that they thought they knew more than. Their first agent was a new agent that they just decided to give the listing to and ran over them because they could. So you come in as the seasoned professional. Number one, you're getting 6%. You might get 7 because they're in pain. So you're getting a beat up seller with their hand in the air saying, I need to sell this thing. And you don't want to call them? Think about that. I mean, it's the best thing ever. So I'm an advocate of it. We're good?
Don't put in a piece back on.
Okay, I won't.
I'll put it on.
Thank you. You're the best. Sorry, guys. See, that's called multitasking. All right. So I won't beat a dead horse with expireds. The other thing that the other question that I get a lot is how do I revive stale listings and handle price reductions? Who
I
has
love
trouble
that.
with price reductions? I mean, who gets very nervous calling the seller with price reductions? Let's talk about that because the way I was coached, and all markets are different. Dean, I would love Dean to actually chime in on this because Dean, you're in New Jersey, right?
Yep.
What's your average days on market?
About 21, 22.
Your personal or the market average? What's the
Oh
average?
yeah. Oh, that's my personal average is the market about 32 to 40.
32 to 40. We're like, I don't know, 50, 60 right now in our market. But
We're at 90.
they're at 90, right? So 90 days. But his personal average is 21, so it's below. So what is your, because I know you're going to have a Mike Ferry trained answer for this. A house is sitting there for 7 days, 14 days. I know what needs to happen because I've set the seller up for this conversation. But what do you do when a seller needs to have that price protection conversation talk? Like, what is your timeline for doing these conversations?
Well, it's actually in week 3. So on day 21, if we don't have something in hand or expecting to, then that's when we do it. But you said it's something very key that everyone should understand. You have to set it up over the coming weeks. And I would argue it is a lot easier to get price reductions, guys, when you are calling them and communicating and doing your job for servicing the listing the right way when you're in the beginning of that process, when they're on a high, right? Because when they list the property, you're on a high. So so I have the strategy. It's a 3-day strategy in the beginning. I call the day before we go live, the day of the listing, and then the day after. So now they think I'm doing all this extra work in the beginning. So when I ask for a price adjustment, it's normal by day 21 if we're not sold. So we have, Bobby and I, we have a very good reduction and adjustment. We call it an adjustment. We just say adjustment. We never almost use the word reduction to the client. It's always an adjustment. The market has spoken. Let's make an adjustment to meet that need in the market. And guess what the good news is? The good news is that you're in full control. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you have all the leverage right now. You have all the leverage. And imagine it's like fishing in the ocean. If you put a little bait on it and you're in a completely different area where the sharks are, do you want to put blood in the water with the bait, or you just want to put a little piece, like a little worm on there, and then and then hope for the best? Let's put blood in the water. And when you said, Tina, I still use your line, by the way, I said, instead of negotiating, let the buyers compete. And they love that. They love that. So that, it's all the setup.
What I see about Dean, though, is what I've noticed is he is so on our Working Genius, he's a G. So he's okay, he's fine to push. Good listing agents are okay feel fine pushing the seller into a decision. That's uncomfortable for most people. It's not uncomfortable for Dean. It's not uncomfortable for me. And so he uses price adjustment. I use reposition the asset. We have to reposition this asset so we can get ahead of the competition. And I used to use my hands because I'm very visual. So I'll say, here's the market at 60 days. Here's where our average is. Sometimes we got to get you to our average or below. You've got to pull the band-aid off faster because as agents, and I hear agents saying, well, but the average is 45 days and my listing's only been on for 21. Are you looking to be average in the market? You want to be do you want to be an average realtor? No. So you don't want to be an average listing. We want to be a clear choice in the market, Mr. Seller. We do not want to be average. So if the average is 60, we want to get you sold in 30. If the average is 90, we want to get you sold in 45 days. If the average is 30, we want to get you sold in 15. We've got to be better than the competition. So if this is the average, I want to price you here. So it's a very clear choice and we don't stair step down because if I price you at average, we're all average. We're like the bread aisle at the grocery store. We all taste the same. We just have a little different packaging. So we've
Well,
got to be a
Tina,
clear choice.
if you look, that's what Amber says. She says, so I set them up where they're actually coming to me to reduce. So at
Yeah.
the listing appointment, I give them the 3, like you're talking about, and let's say they choose the higher, because I think that's what's happening with a lot of us. I've taken expired listings where I'm like, if they will just listen to me and undercut right there, the buyers
Yep.
will compete. I would have already had it sold. But what is happening, and I agree with Amber, is that I don't have to do as much work because I pushed it. In that appointment, I set very clear expectations. I use my hands, I'm visual, and they come to me and they're like, hey, it's almost like they're like, you were right. And it's like, yeah, but I think this is the hardest part as we chase a little bit of a downward market. My question would be, I think a lot of people are scared to feel pushy, right? But how do you get them to realize, like, for instance, one that we took was, it came off at 975. It needed to be listed at 899, Tina, okay? I brought them 899. I gave them all of the reasons, but I set the expectations on these things. They chose 949. And then they came to me and said, all right, we'll go with the 922. That was the middle number. And I was like, guys, we've lost the momentum in the first 11 days. So how, I know Blake's probably struggling with this too. He's been in the thread. Like, how do we poignantly say, you need to trust us and go to 899, or you are going to lose your first 3 weeks of momentum. And now I'm telling you, this house will land at
Say
850.
that. You say what you just said. Do you feel comfortable saying that?
I mean, I guess I'm saying
That's how
it. I'm just not getting the result. They're not listening.
it has to be that clear. Amber, and I think you do this too. You got to lead with evidence, not emotion. And that's what you could say. I lead with evidence, not emotion. I follow the confidence in the data. I show them what the market's doing. And that's it. And that story, that's the story you're going to take to the next seller and the next seller and the next seller. We had a guy that wanted to be a 949 and a 922 is the middle. 899 is where I wanted him to be. And I had to bring out all those stories. In 2008 and 9, when I moved to North Carolina, people paid 1.2 million for their house and I had to list them for 799. We're talking about a $40,000 differential here. And we had to list homes. People were crying at the table, but the emotion has to be out of it. And just the confidence is in the data. And I love what Amber does. I used to do the same thing, set them up on a drip campaign where they see all of their neighbors and all of the area, and they start seeing homes with pools that go under contract, a home with a better kitchen that just went under contract. When they start seeing these homes go under contract, they're sitting there going, damn, they're better than us. They're better. And they're calling you and saying, oh, I think we need to do something. And so, and I treated it like a game, Allison. It was almost like I wanted to get them to become very competitive with themselves, with the market. Like this is a game. We have to beat your neighbors. You have to be the best choice. Right now, are you the best choice? A lot of sellers look at, or a lot of agents look at solds. I'm looking at actives. I don't care what's sold. It's gone. You're not even competing with that thing. Like it gives us a baseline. But what is active? Then I take that list of actives and I'm like, people shop at the clearance rack first. So in a market, I don't just use the 3 neighborhood comps. I'm going to say a buyer doesn't shop in a neighborhood. They shop in a county. And so if I take the entire county from, 825,000 to 925,000, let's say Allison's listing, I'm showing them all of those properties on the active list, and then I'm highlighting the 825, and then all the homes that are 825, 829, 9, 832, 835, 5. There's probably like 20 of them that are between 825 and 850. And then I'm going to the 949 that's way down there. I'm saying all these homes, people are going to shop on the clearance rack first. They're going to look at 825 and say, nope, that's not good. That's not good. They're going to start with the lower ones and then get to your house. If you're way here at the bottom, that's why all these other homes are selling before you, because there's homes on the clearance rack that are better than yours. And so it has to be a visual. And they used to, and then I used to hold it up to them and say, well, where do you want to be on this chart? And that's where they would pick. They weren't, I tried to not get them attached to the price. It's a fluid number. The price is marketing. That's all it is. Just like when I wanted a seller to be at 899, I would say, yeah, we got to be at 900, 900, 900. They finally go, okay, fine, we'll be at 900. And I go, okay, let's list it. But hey, before we sign, let's just price it at 899. And here's why. I want you guys to say this with me. 900,000. And they'd say 900,000. Okay, now say 899,000. 899,000. Which one feels better to you? They'd say 900. I go, yeah, because you're the seller. I said, but to a buyer, we need 800 to come out of their lips first, because they're going to feel a lot better about 899,000 than 900,000. So I tried to really be skillful at getting the psychology around marketing to them as well. So they were like, oh, that's so smart. And I'm like, guys, it's like a buck, $1 difference. And look at the impact we've made. You as a seller do not want to say anything less than 900,000, but are we selling the home to you because you're the highest bidder right now because it's not sold, or are we trying to get a buyer in the door? Right. And the other thing I always use if I'm trying to get a price reduction, because I think price reductions are needed. For yours, Allison, let's say you list it for 945 and they go down to, they need to be at 899. I might say to them, guys, you need to sell this house tomorrow. Would you like to get an offer tomorrow? They're like, yeah, let's play a game. What is the number that would get this home sold where you guys wouldn't even need me? What is the number? And they're like, I don't know, 900. It's probably not 900. Let's say, is it 825? Could we sell this house for 825 without me? Yeah, 825 definitely. Okay, so we know 825 is not the number because we'd be giving it away. But 949 is definitely, you're the highest bidder. So what if we brought it up to, whatever, 875? Would that sell? Could I put money on it? Like, you got to get to the point where you're so uncomfortable with the number that you are confident it will sell, and then go up from that number, not like, let's start with the seller's highest number. Does that make sense? Or did I just confuse the hell out of everyone? Okay. It's just a game I played in my mind. What is the number that would, I gun to my head, this thing would sell? You guys all know that number. You're just too afraid to say it. Play the game with the seller though. Say the number out loud. Guys, I think this is the number. I hate to say it, but you wouldn't even need me at this number. That's giving it away. So let's inch up from there, right? Let's go from, let's see what we can get the buyers to pay. So,
and out of all of this, if you're feeling like you're getting lost, guys, like Anna just put this in here, and this is the biggest thing that I would take away from these things is find the keywords that you like. You are the highest bidder right now. Yeah. That's your script. You don't need to sit in front of a piece of paper and read off of a piece of paper. Listen, we're live streaming this. Go back, watch it again. There are so many golden nuggets that all you have to do is take one or two of these little sentences, weave them into your conversations, and then that's how you become very authentic in the way that you're going to speak with authority with your clients.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to use that one all the time. But here's the other thing. It's not you against them. We are the highest bidder. Right now, what we set, we are the highest bidder for our home. We want 949,000, but you can see the last 5 that sold were 825, 849, and 875. So that's where the market wants to be. How do we get there without giving away the farm? Because we might have to get there. That's the game before our neighbors figure it out. So I would position them like this is this crazy game that we have to win.
Us against them.
Yes, us against them. This is the game. It's psychology. Guys, we got to get you out of here. So that's the psychology.
Joe's got his hand raised. Yep.
Hey, I just wanted to just share a quick key point, kind of a key learning for us. I put in the chat, it starts in the listing appointment and setting clear expectations and transparency. I think we all agree on that. For me, one simple kind of crazy thing that I changed is I stopped taking paper with me to the listing appointment. And what I mean by that is I took my iPad and I made the listing appointment very like live. Like we're doing this in the moment. So like you're putting them in your technology and you're saying, okay, let's look at this house. Like, and I know people do that, but a lot of times I hear of agents taking all that in paper. Take your laptop, take your iPad, and actually make them do some of the work and see what you're seeing in the moment. It gets them pumped up. It kind of gets in their psyche, and they're like, okay, this is making more sense to me. The other thing that I've learned is if you go in there and you're so like paperwork driven and you've already got an answer to everything, they think they're just a number.
Yeah.
They think that this is what you do every single time. And what you're trying to argue with them is how special they are and how special their house is and how you're going to get them the price. So why would you go in there with all your paperwork already ready to go? Sure, you're going to do your homework. You're going to know all your stuff. But for me, when I got them in the moment, like going through it, I also got a better like yes rate from that as well, because they kind of thought it was fun and they kind of got really into it versus
Like a consultative approach.
Yeah, the paperwork made it very boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say about price adjustments is you also have to know their motivation, because I made the mistake here recently, and I usually don't do this because I'm actually really good about like transparency and motivation in the moment to make sure that we have those raw conversations. And I misinterpreted their motivation, or they miscommunicated it. And there was an urgency behind, like, let's get it to the market. We love the price that you're saying. We got a pre-listing appraisal on this house, and they were really excited because it was more than they thought. We went to the market just a little higher than that, and then come to find out, they came to me talking about lowering the price. Their motivation actually was getting it sold before the end of the year. And they failed to communicate that to me because everything they were talking about and the excitement was only around the price. And so when I went back to them and said, oh, wait a minute, hey, we thought we were going after price. They were like, no, it doesn't matter. More importantly, we talked to our CPA and we want to get it sold by the end of the year. So you got to be able to pivot and understand like what motivations look like. That may actually be the answer for you in having this pricing conversations.
I love it. I love it. Well, I just want to recap. So, because, I had 8 questions. I'd be happy to come back, next week or whatever. We could do the rest. But there's the, how do we stay consistent when I'm not seeing fast results? I think we answered that with the 6 Ps. What's the fastest way to get business right now? Expireds. Guys, they're just out there waiting for you to go guide them in these hard conversations. The most skilled agents make the most money. You got to list to last. You got to become a skilled agent, and you got to be able to push, have the hard conversation, be confident enough like Joe to have a consultative approach in front of them. Most agents won't do that until they're uber confident that they can get to a number in front of a seller. But I think that's great. I used to do that as well. How do I get more listings in a tight inventory market? You call expireds and FSBOs. How do I revive stale listings and handle price reductions? I think we landed that. Here are the other questions that I had prepped for today, but we're running out of time. How do I recruit without feeling like a recruiter? We could save that for next week. How do I grow when I feel like I've hit a ceiling? How do I lead agents who don't want to be held accountable? Problem there with a lot of team leaders. And what should I focus on in 2026? So, like I said, I built my business on repetition. The same calls, the same scripts, the same standards, the same obsession about every little word, like we talked about today. Or you're the highest bidder for your home. Do you know where I got all these things? Not that I'm a genius, and we didn't have ChatGPT. I went to conferences like Dean and Amber and Anna and Joe, all these people that are very successful, Dave Neal, Felicia, all you wonderful people that I see here, Dave Frost. We all go to conferences. You got to sit and pay attention to what the pros are doing, watch them in action. There are so many nuggets from today that I even have in my brain from what they've said. So you don't see the 20 conversations I had every day for years and years and years that set my life up for success. That's what nobody sees, but that's what it takes. So I think the message for me today is there is no shiny thing. There is no answer. You guys didn't come here with like one thing. You're like, oh my God, changed my life. It's literally just the boring hinge that swings the big door. Every day it's the 6-minute workout. Every day it's the 5 for 5 or whatever we call it. Start with that. I'll leave you with that. 5 conversations, 5 days a week. If you did that for 52 weeks, you'd have 1,300 conversations. If you close 10% of those people, you'd have 130 transactions. You will not close 10% of those people. You might close 3%. That's 30 something, 38, 39, 40 transactions. So 5 conversations a day. That's what I would leave you with. That will change your life. Who are you calling? Past clients, your sphere, you're calling your clients and saying, "Hey, how can we reposition your asset with all the equity that you have in it today to buy other property in this market? It looks like we're going to go up 14% next year according to NAR. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But either way, buy it and wait." Right? I mean, there's so many ways to make money, but you got to be in love with this and blah, blah, blah.
Guys, I'm gonna see if we can do this. If Tina would come back next week and finish her list.
I'm happy to come back every Wednesday. In fact, I always forget about this.
Then we will we'll plan to continue this conversation next week. What I would ask is if you found this helpful, send this invite. We'll put the same graphic out for next week to somebody else. Let's see if we can get 120 agents to 150 agents on this call next week to impact more business and impact our community for better. We were going to send you to Elias's business planning, which is part of our Fast Forward Movement group. We'll still send you that information for next Wednesday as well. I know Karamal is coming on the 17th. So we're really finishing out the year strong here, which I think is important. The recording is on YouTube. So if you need to go back and get some of these talk tracks that you missed, you can go back to our YouTube page, Agents Empowered. You can watch this whole recording and any recording from the previous weeks. Just look for the live section because these are live streamed onto YouTube. If that's it, I think we all go have good Wednesdays. Yes.
Woo! Go rock it. Go do the boring work,
Thank
people.
you guys. See you next
Thank you,
Wednesday.
Tina. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, all.
Anna,
Everyone.
duck so I can see your mural. Move your head.
Oh yeah. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on.
So
Now it's
pretty.
on Allison.
Gorgeous.
That is nice, Anna.
Thanks. My mom did it. That's why I can't ever sell the house because her
Oh
mural
my
would be
gosh, that's
probably painted over.
incredible.
So I'm stuck here with my drywall that's painted over.
Gorgeous.
Oh,
Thank you,
it's
guys.
beautiful.
Well, we appreciate you all. And Tina, we appreciate you. And if you're in Beaufort tomorrow or anywhere surrounding, we are doing the final coffee social of the year. We have Ross Holmquist and Mike Little coming, and they're going to be flipping omelets on the grill. And we are doing a food drive and a toy drive for nonprofits locally. So
I'm jealous. I'm driving down.
8:30 at
Oh.
my house tomorrow morning. Hope to
I
see
think
you.
there's mimosas too. Let's not
Oh,
leave out.
nice. I'm in.
Mimosas. I'm doing the mimosas. Yes. So
I'm
thank you
in.
guys. We'll see you.
Ross knows
see
how
you
to
all
get a
Wednesday.
realtor to a house. Bye.
Happy Wednesday.
Thanks.
See you next week.
Bye, y'all. See ya.
Bye.